Welcome everyone. Friends and family who are here to be with Mayor Aaron and Dakota today. We thank you for being here to share this special day. We are all here to support Aaron and Dakota on their first day as husband and wife. As you go into married life, remember the reason. The reason you try and raise the respect level and love of women's wrestling figures and review them. You will now be able to achieve your goal together. Remember the reason you entertain and the reason you review women's wrestling figures. The reason you are legally becoming one. Now it is vow time. The bride may go first.
Mayor Aaron, from the moment I saw you post YouTube shorts about me, I knew you were special. At first, I thought I was going to have to get a restraining order, but after getting to know you, I know your heart is gold, and your love for me goes beyond my looks.
Dakota, I do indeed like your looks. And to be completely honest with you, I think your accent is extremely hot. But I also think you are amazing. I couldn't be happier today than to finally become one with you. You will be my tag team partner for life, girl.
Oh, tag team partner? Oh my gosh, keep it in your pants until the honeymoon, Mayor Aaron.
Oh my gosh, I totally did not mean it like that.
Well, okay then. Now, Aaron, do you, of your own free will, take Dakota as your lawful wedded wife to love, protect, and defend, as long as you both shall live?
Oh, hells to the yeah! I do.
Now, Dakota, do you, of your own free will, take Aaron as your lawful wedded husband to love, protect, and defend, as long as you both shall live?
I do.
And now it is time for the exchanging of the rings.
Yeah, so about that, my best man Dexy over here seemed to have lost the ring, but I can't blame him. Do you realize how small the thing was? Anyways, can we cut straight to the makeout sesh?
Oh boy. With these public promises and vows, by the power vested in me, our Saint Miss Elizabeth, in the town of LumberJillville, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Hold up. I object.
Wow. Really, Co-Mayor Alexa? What a C-block. But it's too late. Our priest already declared us husband and wife.
Yeah, you're right. But it's not too late to ruin your special moment.
You can't ruin our special day.
Watch me.
Time.
How dare you embarrass my wife on this special day? Hey, hands off the merchandise.
Look at you two. Ha 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 ha.
My wedding is ruined.
Wedding? Mayor Aaron, you have been out cold for 10 minutes.
No, you see. I got married to Dakota Kai.
Nah, fam, you were out, and I mean out. We have been training for my match against Co-Mayor Alexa, and you thought it was a good idea to teach me how to do a shooting star press.
Oh, I guess we were training, huh? And yeah, I think I remember, some call me the king of the shooting star press, much like Mr. Billy Kidman.
I think more like Brock Lesnar, WrestleMania 19 shooting star press. I mean, you landed straight on your head.
Oh, that bad, huh? Well, I guess it all kind of makes sense. I mean, hey, at least I have Elite Series 104 Dakota Kai to review today. Hey, just to clarify, are you sure that I didn't get married to Dakota?
Yes, I'm sure. I'm sorry, Mayor Aaron. It seems to be that you had a concussion-filled dream.
Dang it. But there's still hope. Oh, boy. welcome to LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. Now, before we get started, I just want to remind you to please hit subscribe to become an official resident of LJV and get a first look at all future women's wrestling figures, like today's very exciting review of Elite Series 104, Dakota Kai. Now, anybody that watches the channel knows that I am in love with Dakota Kai. Now, obviously, here in LumberJillville, we are all about respecting and appreciating the women for what they are. But I think it's okay to have a crush. And my crush is Dakota Kai, without a doubt. Anyone that watches the channel knows that. So, yeah, I love Dakota. But I'm real excited to review this figure, so let's dive right in. Now, let's start off by taking a look at the packaging here. And, yeah, I don't think I've ever been more excited for a figure review. And it's not just because this is Dakota Kai, but because this is such an awesome-looking figure. And we'll get to that. And obviously, we'll break it down part by part. But starting off with the packaging here, I mean, right away, we have the absolutely beautiful, I love her so much, Dakota Kai. I mean, look at Dakota, y'all. She is the most beautiful woman on the planet. All right, I'm going to stop being all mushy now, y'all. But yeah, this figure does look cool MOC. She's holding the mic in her hand. And yeah, it's a nice open window there that we've been getting recently. And we do have that blue and black theme. On the back here, we have an image of Dakota wearing the Women's Tag Team Championship, which is interesting. She also has it on the front. But we don't get that with this figure, so I don't know why they would choose that image. I'm not complaining. I mean, look at it. But why don't we get a Women's Tag Team Championship with her? I don't know. It's bizarre. We have a little bio on the back. Now, something that Tori Wilson Elite had that a couple people pointed out was Tori was listed at 5'1", which is not accurate. And here, 5'6", that's accurate. So, good. Now, reading the bottom here, let's see if we can find any errors here. WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, NXT Women's Tag Team Champion, good. The captain of Team Kick shocked the WWE Universe, joined Damage Control, and captured the WWE Women's Tag Team titles alongside her partner, Io Sky. Very cool. And then we have the rest of the line there. So, yeah. I'm going to open this up off camera, and let's take a closer look. WWE Elite Series 104, Dakota Kai. This attire is from the October 3rd, 2022 episode of Raw from St. Paul, Minnesota. On this night, Dakota Kai would defeat Candice LeRae in a singles match. Alright, so my overall first impressions of this figure. I freaking love this figure, y'all. I love it. I really can't wait to break this figure down part by part in this review and also compare it to her previous figures and see how it holds up to just women's elites in general. But yeah, maybe I'm biased, but this is awesome. I'm just smiling ear to ear. This figure looks great. Now, the first thing I'm going to point out is the leg color. Now, here's the thing, y'all. I saw some hilarious posts online when they first posted pictures of this figure, and people were wondering, why are her legs red? Why are they brown? Why is her leg skin tone different than her upper body? Y'all. If you actually watch women's wrestling, you actually watch it, you'll know that a lot of the females wear pantyhose underneath their bottoms, the lower half of their attire there. And a good example of this is basic 106 Carmella. People were going crazy. Why are the legs like that? Why do they look like that? Y'all. It's accurate. Now, I am going to say maybe it's a little too dark on this Dakota if we're getting real nitpicky, but I'd rather them include that detail and make her legs a little darker to simulate that pantyhose rather than have it just skin color. So I think it's cool. I think it's great. But that's what that is, y'all. If you're wondering why the legs are darker, that's what it is. But starting off looking at her accessories here, she comes with 2 semi-grasping hands. And yes, they can actually grab things, unlike Liv Morgan from Elite 103. I still can't get over that. I'll tell you what. But anyway, she also comes with a fist for her left hand. And then, obviously, her signature hand for her right. And then she comes with a WWE microphone. Now, why we didn't get a WWE Women's Tag Team title, I don't know. Some people are going to say, well, it's because all the deco in the attire. I mean, go look at that Rick Steiner figure, whatever. He doesn't matter. But he gets so much deco, so much detail, so much sculpting, so much molding, so much accessories. And we can't get a Women's Tag Team title with Dakota. Inexcusable. But either way, I digress. Nice WWE mic. Okay, cool. Would rather had the title. Now, with that being said, let's take a closer look at the figure. Let's start off with that face scan, face sculpt, and hair. Alright, so moving on to the face scan, face sculpt, and the hair sculpt. This is all brand new for Dakota, and I have to say I absolutely love it. Now, when they first revealed 3D rendering images of this figure, I believe it was the WrestleMania Reveals Mania weekend this past year, a lot of people were not a huge fan of the sculpt. They thought it looked kind of silly, kind of weird. But me, I mean, I loved it from the start because it is a facial expression she has made before. And I love when women's wrestling figures have unique expressions or have any emotion at all because we don't always get that. So I love that they went with this look. Now, I will say that a way to get around, the people that didn't really like this sculpt, it would have been nice to have an extra head included that maybe had a serious scan or a little smirk or something like that as far as the sculpt goes. But me, I like their decision to go with this because it is unique. It does have a lot of emotion behind it. And on top of that, I think the sculpt is fantastic. And the scan is printed on great. It looks awesome. But I will say I ordered 3 of these today. And one of the 3, that scan is printed on the sculpt a little bit off. And it looks a little wonky, y'all. And I say this time and time again. With these women's wrestling figures, because they have smaller facial structures, I think there's a higher chance of that scan not being printed on correctly. And that could really throw the figure's likeness off. But here, the scan is printed on the sculpt perfectly. And I think it's great. I can't say enough good about it. I think it's really nice. I think it looks just like her. I love it. Now let's move on to the hair. All right away, I know a lot of people notice this, and I might be colorblind, but I know what yellow is. And what I mean by that is this side of her hair, it should be more of a white. Okay, now remember, I am colorblind. I have a lot of trouble with that, but to me, this just looks straight yellow. And even if you cover up like the pink and the black, I mean, it looks like a Carmella blonde or like a dirty blonde, something like that. And I don't think that's too accurate. Colors aren't really my thing to recognizing when something's off, but I do think that this should be more of a white color or more of a faded blonde. I think if they would have went with white, it would have looked a lot better in my opinion. But the pink does look good, and I love how the pink and then we'll say the blonde is mixed into this really cool hair sculpt. She's got double braids going back, pigtails over her shoulders, and even little, here let's zoom in a little bit, even little like ponytail holders there. We have a pink one and a yellow one, blonde one. And I love how it's kind of weaved into her braids, the pink and the blonde. So yeah, I mean, I think the hair sculpt is really cool. And I think the inclusion of the different hair colors also cool, but I do wish that blonde was more of a white. Moving on down to body sculpt and attire, I have to say they nailed it, knocked it out of the park with her body sculpt on this figure. And I say that because if you go back to her Royal Rumble Elite, which we will do a side-by-side comparison with in the next segment here, they chose legs that were kind of short, kind of stocky, and that's just not what her legs look like. She has very long, slender appearance legs, and that's what we get on this figure. I mean, it's such a nice correction. Like, I'm really glad that they did fix that. They did choose better part choices, but the one thing I am going to say, which is a little bit of a head scratcher, is she has basic articulation in her ankles. She doesn't have the normal Elite style side swivel or anything to that extent. I mean, these are basic articulated ankles. And I think it's because, they went with the kick pads here, and the kick pad sculpt that they have has the basic ankle joint. So that's just weird. That throws me off. Kind of like whenever sometimes in Elites they'll add that ultimate toe joint. Like, why? What are you doing? I mean, I know they're just reusing parts, but that just really throws me through a loop. But that's the only thing that I noticed that really bothered me. But yeah, the body sculpt is spot on. I think it looks great. I think it looks awesome. And I can't say enough good about the sculpt. Now, as far as the attire goes, let's take a closer look. First off, you'll notice that she has tattoos. She has tattoos on her right forearm, on her left forearm, and then on her upper back there. So that's really cool to include those and to be able to see those. Now, if we're looking at the attire, I mean, they did an excellent job here with the sculpting and molding of that top. There's a lot of intricate sculpting here as far as the straps go. Even that top underneath the straps has a sculpted ledge there. And even around her neck, we have a little bit of sculpting. And obviously, the paint deco here is what really makes it stand out. We have a black base color with a lot of little pink details throughout, little silver studs painted. And then we have this darker color to kind of simulate that mesh, that see-through mesh that she wears on her top. And it looks great, looks spot on. I mean, I can't say enough good about that, really. Now, what's really cool is we do have a little sculpted ledge here to simulate the end of her top. So it goes down a little lower than the top of that, which is accurate and really, really cool that they did that. We even have sculpting on the laces on the back of her top. So how cool is that? Now moving on down to the bottoms here. The bottoms are primarily painted on, but in her midsection we have this sculpted belt type piece with these little straps hanging down, which is very, very cool. And yes, it is or could be removable, but it looks great right like that. It looks like it's part of the bottom, so that's how it's supposed to, and it looks awesome. Now the bottoms are painted just a black base color with pink accents and little silver studs painted throughout. A lot of painted detail on the back as well. And as I mentioned before, the legs are a darker color. It's supposed to seem like pantyhose or stockings that she wears underneath her bottoms there, so that's accurate and cool. We have black knee pads, and then, yeah, we have these boots. And the boot detail looks great. Looks really, really cool, but it's a little disappointing that we have the basic articulation in the ankle joints, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of weird, but overall, as far as body sculpt and attire goes, it looks tremendous. All right, one of my favorite segments, it is comparison time here. Now, Dakota has had 3 figures with WWE and Mattel, and they are 3 drastically different figures. And what's funny is if you look at the face sculpts, face scans, and even the hair on all 3 of these figures, they look like 3 different women. Now, I am going to say that Royal Rumble Elite does look a lot like her, but it's such a different time in her career with that different hairstyle and different facial expression that does look like a different person. Now, we're going to just put this basic off to the side because this basic Series 116, I mean, I liked it when it came out. And I remember saying in the review that some angles look like Dakota, like, hey, that looks like Dakota. But then you look at it straight on, not so much. No, you really have to work hard to find Dakota in this figure, in my opinion. But I think for her first in the line figure, I mean, her first basic, I thought it was okay. But, yeah, bye. She gone. So we're going to compare her to Elites. Now, this is her Royal Rumble Elite on the left, and obviously Elite 104 is on the right. Now, do you see what I'm talking about with the legs? Like, when I reviewed this figure, I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is perfect. I love it so much. But the more I had it displayed on my desk, I was like, this doesn't really look like Dakota as far as the body sculpt goes. Like, something seems off. And I really do think it's the legs. I think the legs really make it stand out for the worse. And what I mean by what I mean by that is, you know, if you turn them around, like, she has longer, slender legs in the new Elite, and that is way more accurate than the short, stockier legs that was on the Royal Rumble Elite. And also, a weird decision that they went with, and I'm not completely sure on this, but I'm pretty sure, is this figure, I think, was molded in black, and the flesh color was painted on top of the black. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out. If you look, even in the bottom area here, and you twist her leg, you can kind of see that the mold color is black. And on the top here, I believe that this flesh color is painted on top of the black. And same thing on her forearms. You know, if you pop these hands out, you can see that that mold was a black colored mold. So I just think that's weird, and I think that really makes the skin color look a little bizarre. And yeah, I wish they would have gone with a flesh colored plastic that they kind of based everything else off of, because yeah, that's something that kind of bothers me over time. But I thought it was a cool figure. I still think it's a cool figure. I mean, I think the likeness is cool. I love that she has this really unique face, a lot like this new Elite. And I know some people weren't crazy for it, but I liked it. I liked it because it kind of gave her a little heel persona, a little smirk, the eyebrows up. Loved it. So this was definitely a cool figure, but I mean, in my opinion, it's not even a competition for which one is Dakota's best. I think today's figure we're reviewing is, quite frankly, miles above the other one. And I like that other one, so that says something. All right, so now let's cover articulation here. Now her head's got pretty decent movement. This hair is very flexible. It moves quite a bit, and it actually allows her to move her head a bit. She just can't really look up. Shoulders on a ball joint can go in all different directions. She has the upper arm swivel, double jointed elbows. We have that upper torso swivel, which can move a lot. She has that waist swivel. Her hip is on a ball joint, can move in all different directions. She has that upper thigh swivel. Double jointed knees can really flex that knee back. Upper boot swivel, and the foot can only plantar flex down and dorsiflex up. It can't rock side to side. The wrist can also go in a circular motion, extend up, and flex. So articulation is good, but then again, so is her Royal Rumble figure. Alright, so now it's time for the score, and I'm actually going to switch up my scoring system a little bit today. So I am going to give the point score like I always do, but I'm going to add to it. So let me know in the comments if you like what I did today, and I'll continue it in future reviews. Now, side note, if you've heard pops in the background during the extent of this review, just know that in Tennessee, a week before the 4th of July, they just shoot off fireworks for the whole week, every day. Because at the time of this recording, tomorrow's the 4th of July, and yeah, it's been loud. It's been noisy here. But either way, I give WWE Elite Series 104 Dakota Kai an overall score of a 9.7 out of 10. I love this figure. It is my pick for Elite of the Year. It is my favorite figure of the year. It might be my favorite figure of all time, but that is me being biased. But as far as the score goes, I think that's a fair score. And I think 0.1 should be taken off for 3 different things. That's why it's a 9.7. Number 1. That blonde in her hair should be more of a white. And I think that's a bit of an oversight. Another 0.1 off goes to the basic ankle articulation. Now, it really didn't bother me until I was trying to pose her for the thumbnail image, and when you move her in the different ways that you can move elites into, the ankles just don't really cooperate. They can only go up and down, and that's unfortunate. You know, that's real disappointing there, so that's 2. I almost hit myself in the face. Now, number 3 is, why did we not get a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship with Dakota? The image on the front of the package, the image on the back of the package has her with the titles. So I think that is a huge oversight and real disappointing that we didn't get that here. So that took off a little bit. So really, it's a great score. I mean, like I said, it's my favorite Elite of the Year, honestly. Now, the thing that I'm going to add today is I'm going to have a new system here, okay? And I'm going to tell y'all if I think it's a pass, if I think it's a pre-order, like you should get it now, if you should wait in stores, or if you should wait until it goes on clearance. Wait till it goes on a Ringside Collectible sale. You know, you could probably get it cheap. So it's kind of those 4 categories. And this Dakota, in my opinion, is an absolute must pre-order. I really do think this figure is worth going to Ringside Collectibles right now, pre-ordering it, and getting it months before it's out in stores, because I think it is that good. And the fact that Io Sky is coming in the next Elite Series, at least rumored to be in Elite 105, you gotta have damage control. Now, it is weird that Bayley hasn't been announced. I'm real confused by that. I thought she would have been the first one out. And I'm hoping for an ultimate. So, fingers crossed. But yeah, I love this figure. I think it's great. And I absolutely think y'all should go pre-order it. I think it's on back order right now, but you'll still get it before it's in stores, and I think it's worth it. Thanks for stopping by LumberJillville. Women's wrestling lives here. For a first look at all future women's wrestling figure reviews, make sure to hit subscribe and become an official resident of LJV today. Also, head on over to ringsidecollectibles.com and use coupon code LJV to save 10% on your next pre-order of women's wrestling figures. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.